I know you chose me because you had no other option, but I promise, within my power, I will never let you suffer.
I turned instinctively at the sound of his voice and accidentally stumbled into his chest.
Rhys, I chose you willingly.
A flicker of something unreadable passed through Rhys's eyes.
Sylvia, Kai and I truly love each other. Can't you just let us be together? We've already shared a bed. If I don't marry him, how could I ever marry anyone else?
In a daze, I heard my younger sister, Lena, crying out. Father stood nearby, speaking up in her defense.
Sylvia, maybe you could choose another fiancé instead. Lena just made a mistake in a moment of poor judgment.
He had always been biased toward Lena. After all, she was the legitimate daughter of his official wife, while I was merely the illegitimate child from one of his affairs. I looked at Lena, who was kneeling on the ground. Though her face was streaked with tears and full of pitiful sorrow, the ambition and excitement in her eyes were unmistakable. I knew then, she had been reborn too. And this time, she had made it to Kai's bed before I did. In my past life, I had chosen Kai, the eldest son of the Wolf clan, as my fiancé. I saw the Serpent clan as cold-blooded and unfeeling, the Fox clan as frivolous and unfaithful, and the Dragon clan as proud and arrogant. Only the Wolf clan, known for their loyalty and devotion, seemed worthy of trust. 6 months after marrying Kai, I got pregnant with our child. And then, I gave birth to a half-beast white wolf, our son Elian. As the first half-beast child born from a human-beast union, Elian naturally became the next leader of the human-beast alliance. Lena, enamored by the Fox clan's beauty, had chosen their heir, Felix. But she didn't expect him to be a shameless womanizer, constantly entangled with other lovers. Eventually, she contracted a disease because of him, one that left her infertile and scorned by the Fox clan. She blamed me for her misfortune, jealous that I had lived a better life than she did. Memory, hatred surged in my chest. I wanted nothing more than to kill Lena right then and there and avenge Elian. I clenched my fists inside my sleeves. The pain in my palms sobered me slightly. Then I slowly nodded, masking my fury with a look of understanding.
If Lena and Kai truly love each other, I'd never stand in the way of their happiness.
Lena hadn't expected me to agree so easily. The tears she had squeezed out now hung awkwardly at the corners of her eyes.
Lena, get up now. Hurry and thank your sister for stepping aside.
Father urged, clearly relieved.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Lena beamed as she rushed out, eager to bring the good news to Kai and the Wolf clan.
Girls really do grow up and slip away too quickly.
Father joked. But when he turned and saw the cold indifference on my face, his voice faltered.
Sylvia, among the eligible Beast clan heirs, only 2 remain, Rhys of the Serpent clan and Felix of the Fox clan. I still think the Fox clan would be a better match, better looks, higher status, clearly superior to the Serpent clan. Besides, Lena once said dash.
I cut him off.
Father, I choose to marry Rhys of the Serpent clan.
To most humans, snakes were cold-blooded and heartless, and that prejudice extended to the Serpent clan beastmen. For thousands of years, no human had ever chosen to marry into the Serpent clan. As a result, they had never produced a single ruler for the human-beast alliance. Eventually, they were cast out from the ranks of the 5 great beast families and reduced to the lowest tier of the beast clans, denied even the smallest share of resources. But in my past life, as the fire consumed me, I saw a pair of emerald green eyes, Rhys's. He tried to save me, but the flames were too fierce, and he could do nothing. Although Father disapproved of my decision, when he saw the resolve on my face, he didn't press further. He simply sighed and tried to console me.
If your life in the Serpent clan becomes too difficult, perhaps Lena can help you out.
But when Lena found out I had chosen to marry into the Serpent clan, she couldn't resist mocking me to my face.
Sylvia, even if you couldn't marry Kai, surely you didn't have to stoop to the declining Serpent clan? Don't end up starving to death before you even manage to bear a child. I heard they're struggling just to stay fed these days. The Wolf clan is wealthy beyond measure. Even their bathwater is infused with precious divine herbs. If your life gets too miserable, I can pack up some leftovers and send them your way.
She covered her mouth and burst out laughing, ignoring the awkward glances from the servants around us. In Lena's eyes, the Wolf clan had vast resources, and Kai's devotion would guarantee a swift pregnancy. She was certain I'd miss my chance at bearing the first half-beast child. But she had no idea how difficult it was for humans and beast folk to conceive. Nor did she know how obsessed Kai was with having an heir. When I didn't show signs of pregnancy after 6 months, he began taking out his frustration on me, tormenting me day and night. Only after I used a secret technique to conceive and gave birth to Elian, securing the Wolf clan's claim to power, did Kai finally relent. I offered Lena a calm smile.
You needn't worry about me, dear sister. Since I've chosen my husband, I'll live with my decision without regret.
What's there to be proud of? You're marrying a penniless nobody. I'll be the first one to get pregnant. My child will definitely be the next ruler of the alliance.
Infuriated by my composure, Lena slammed the table, scattering the pastries across the floor. I ignored her tantrum and went off to prepare for my wedding in 3 days. For one thing, she wasn't wrong, the Serpent clan was indeed very poor. I worried they might not even have the money for a proper gown, so I planned to prepare one myself. To my surprise, that very evening, Rhys came in person to deliver my wedding dress. It was the first time I truly saw his face. His skin was pale, almost bloodless. His long, narrow eyes carried a quiet authority, and the emerald green of his irises held a mysterious depth. Yet the teardrop mole at the corner of his eye lent a subtle grace to his otherwise austere expression. Inside the box lay a floor-length gown of deep green tulle. The bodice shimmered faintly with snake scales stitched into the fabric. I had never seen such a beautiful dress. For a moment, I was completely captivated.
Sylvia,
Rhys said calmly.
This gown was hand-stitched by our Serpent clan's finest seamstresses. Each scale was a blessing offered by our people.
His gaze carried a deliberate detachment, as if the person marrying me wasn't him at all.
This is the first time our Serpent clan has ever wed a human. If anything has been done poorly, you're welcome to tell me.
Thank you.
I replied.
I truly love it.
Just as I was about to put the dress away, Lena strolled in, arm in arm with Kai, smug and beaming.
Sylvia, don't tell me this is the only gown you got. Kai had 10 dresses made for me. 10.
Kai looked down at Lena with affection in his eyes. Lena only knew of the Wolf clan's famous loyalty, but she didn't understand it was rooted in their biological instincts and their intense obsession with offspring. If she failed to conceive, would Kai still treat her with such tenderness? Rhys's grip on his serpent staff tightened slightly before he raised his eyes to meet mine.
If the Serpent clan has caused you any grievance, Sylvia, I can promise you this: I, Rhys, will never betray you in this lifetime.
Lena snorted.
Anyone can talk sweet. Let's see if you can actually produce a child.
Now, all she ever talked about was children. Her infertility in her past life had become a thorn in her heart, and now she was fixated on getting pregnant. Even before marrying Kai, she had already moved into his home. In that sense, she and Kai were a perfect match, both obsessively fixated on heirs.
Lena, perhaps you should focus on your own wedding. People might start to think you've set your sights on my fiancé instead.
I smiled faintly, and under the sour expressions of Lena and Kai, I took Rhys's hand and walked away. Behind me, I could still hear Lena's shrill voice clinging to Kai, her words faint but unmistakable: pregnancy, child, next ruler. Oh, my foolish sister. Even after a second chance at life, she still believed that a child was her only path to power. Rhys's cool voice sounded beside my ear.
Sylvia, I know you chose me because you had no other option, but I promise, within my power, I will never let you suffer.
I turned instinctively at the sound of his voice and accidentally stumbled into his chest. A strange yet pleasant scent drifted into my nose. I looked up at him and said slowly, with deliberate clarity,
Rhys, I chose you willingly.
A flicker of something unreadable passed through Rhys's eyes.
All right, Sylvia.
3 days later, the wedding arrived as scheduled. Both ceremonies were held in the same grand restaurant. The Wolf clan's wedding was even more extravagant than in my previous life. They had gone so far as to invite the reclusive Phoenix clan to perform, and all the major noble houses attended in full force. Meanwhile, the Serpent clan celebration was quieter, with no distinguished guests, yet the clan members beamed with genuine joy. After all, this was their first marriage to a human, a sign they might finally have a chance at producing the next ruler of the alliance. After the ceremony, I ran into Lena face to face. She deliberately tilted her chin, making sure I noticed the marks on her neck.
Sylvia, I didn't know wolf men had such stamina. At this rate, I'll be giving them an heir in no time.
I smiled politely.
Then I sincerely wish you the best of luck.
Lena was grossly underestimating the difficulty of pregnancy between humans and beastkin. Our species was fundamentally different. Even in the best conditions, natural conception took at least a year. She assumed I got pregnant easily in our past life, and so she believed the same would come just as easily to her. She even boasted to the Wolf clan that she'd be pregnant within 6 months. Word had spread quickly.